the last time I wore this shirt, it was actually for my first carpet race. So it's kind of fitting. Steve Kinzer, World of Outlaw guy, sprint car, lots of world championships. Anyways, talking about these guys. First thing I have to say, carpet is weird. On one side of the equation, it's easy because there's tons of grip, the jumps are always the same. On the other side of the equation, it's really hard. So we're going to talk about all those things in today's video. I'm looking forward to it. This is going to be the recap of the U.S. Indoor Carpet Championships put on by Scotty Ernst that took us up to Cleveland, Ohio. Before I dive deep into these cars and the things that we learned about, I need to give just a quick thank you plug to everyone over on my Patreon because it allowed us to, first of all, go to this event, bring a second two-wheel drive buggy that was ready to race for our good friend Daniel Evans. This was his very first time running a 10 scale buggy, so it was a little bit of a steep order just throwing him into a big event like this, but he had a lot of fun and it's all thanks to you guys. So more on his experiences later in today's video, but I just had to say thank you for that because it was really freaking cool. You guys are the best. Two-wheel drive. I have a setup down below, and I'm going to kind of talk through some of the things that I was working on throughout the course of the weekend. We didn't have the fastest two-wheel drive of the weekend, but we did get it into the A main. Our practice was cut just a little bit short because of work obligations. I had to show up, and the very first thing that I did was go right into seeding. That was pretty much my first pack of practice, was our seeding round of practice. So not the end of the world, but I did miss an entire day of setup learning and track learning, etc. from the day I missed. Anyways, biggest change we made with this car would be the tire selection that we used up front. Again, the Raw Speed black carpet tire was not completed for the time of this event, so with the permission of Jason Snyder, I opted to run the Proline Prism 2.0s for this vehicle. We did the same thing for the four-wheel, but more on that in a second. The Prism 2.0 fronts definitely provided a much more direct and consistent steering feel, in my humble opinion, compared to the Hexons. The Hexons have a very wide window for input forgiveness because they're not very direct in comparison to these. Definitely have to glue the sidewall to keep the car from grabbing too much of the carpet, but that's not really that difficult. You just glue a little bit of the sidewall there and it keeps it from traction rolling and steering out of control. One thing that I think is a big change that we have done to the setup with this two-wheel compared to perhaps years past is, in the past, we used to put a big heavy brass bulkhead up in the front of the vehicle. Now this may still work in your particular applications, but with the recent events that I went to at Beachline and this indoor race held by Scotty, I've been running the aluminum front bulkhead with a brass kick shim and then trying to move some of that weight further back near the servo ESC area. This allows the car to steer much quicker from, left to center to right, back to center, etc. With that big heavy brass bulkhead up front, the car just throws its weight around so much and you're kind of waiting for it to do all those things when instead, when you run this little bit lighter option, it feels like everything speeds up. So we definitely had plenty of steering with the Prism 2.0 fronts, and our, shock package, everything else. So I definitely feel like we could get away with running less weight on the front end for a more balanced, consistent feel. There were two other things that were some kind of big changes, I guess you could say, that I played with throughout the weekend. One of them being, as we're moving towards the rear of the vehicle, we'll stop at the battery compartment. Traditionally, when you run carpet, the tires are much lighter than a dirt configuration with closed cell inserts. This significant loss of weight because of the tires that we run, you usually have to put the weight in the vehicle in other places. So when I run this vehicle on dirt, I typically like to run the 4100 LCG pack to keep the weight of the vehicle very low. However, when you run this pack with the carpet tire configuration, the vehicle is way underweight and you have to end up adding some brass plates underneath that battery. Now, I will say that the guy who ended up winning this whole weekend, it wasn't me, it was Brennan Schimmel. He opted to run the 4100 with some brass weight under it. I, however, just personally liked the 4300 white carbon battery. These batteries typically have just a little bit more of a punch feel to them compared to the 4100. So I opted to run that with no brass plates underneath it because if I'm going to add weight and I can have some extra punch, I figured why not run the 4300. So that is the battery setup that we went with this vehicle. Last thing I'll talk about as far as a change that we made this weekend was a difference of spring selection in the rear of the vehicle. We run the red V2s up front, but in the rear, I kind of bounce back and forth between the blue V2s and the gray V2s. Blue being stiffer, gray being softer. When I ran the grays, the car had a much more in the track feel on certain areas where the speeds were a little bit lower, it was a little bit more technical. I gained some sort of comfortability feel out of the car. The blues had a much more aggressive, like out of the corner feel, but it just felt like the car struggled to get in the track in some respects. I'm not saying that gray is definitely faster than the blue, but it was what I ended up using for the weekend, and that's ultimately why. We had some really great battles all through qualifying. We had some runs where I was perhaps sneaking into the top 3. Definitely never had a TQ car, but we had some speed. Mental errors on my part definitely kept me from qualifying as well as I think I could have. It seemed like every single time I went out on the track, I just had to make some sort of big mistake, which was pretty surprising because there was 5 rounds of qualifying and AAA mains. So I won't say much else about it. We did qualify straight into the A main, so I'll go ahead and jump into one of my better A mains here, and we can go ahead and watch that. And then when we get back, I will run us through our 4-wheel drive efforts for the weekend.
Race 17 up next.
Where do you want to go?
I go here, Norm, or like here somewhere.
Okay.
You're good there.
Oops, sorry. Oh. My wing's done.
Souvenir?
What?
Souvenir?
Our marshals are ready. Good luck, drivers. We're going racing on the sound of the tone. Here we go. Brandon Schimmel bringing the field around. Him and Jeff had a great battle in 4-wheel drive. Now it's 2-wheel drive. Great start, everybody. Here we go. Down the line, lap number 1. Schimmel stacked with Chavez in the 3. Followed by Jarrett. Copeland behind them. This is our 2-wheel drive stock Buggy Pro Division presented by Team Associates. Schimmel across the line, right on the curving. Stacker with Chavez and Derek. Derek closes right up on Chavez. Off out a little cut to the corner there. Here comes Derek. All right, Schimmel get ready to down the line. Stacker is second. Third spot the battle here between Chavez and Derek. Behind him is going to be Copeland, followed by Harris. Oh, no trouble in this again. Good job, John. First for the crash. Good job. Oh, my. Easy, guys. So, Schimmel with a huge break here. He has some tough luck in four-wheel. Luck going his way here. Traffic in the back. A little bit of trouble there for Stack. Who Chavez up to 2. Copeland 3. Jacob from the 9 spot up to the 3. 3:20 to go. Schimmel, Chavez.
Probably had a top 5 car if I ran perfectly, but we all know that that rarely ever happens. So I'll take what we can get. Not bad. Better than we did at Beachline. At least we made the show this weekend. So a lot of fun. Huge shout out again to Jacob Michel. He was in the B main and he was pitting just a table across from us, and we worked with him on his car a lot throughout the weekend, and we made some significant changes to kind of bring it more towards how my car was. And when we did, he ended up bumping into the A main and then beating me in the A main, which was really cool.
Jacob, what are your speed secrets this weekend? Why are you going so fast, dude?
Well, my speed secrets is Ryan for sure. He's definitely he's helped me go fast, and just driving smooth and consistent. One crash can ruin the whole race.
You're faster than me, definitely. Like, there was a practice session that we went out and you were just pulling me, man. Like, you were just walking away from me. So it's really cool seeing you do that. What's something that you've been working on this weekend? What's clicking? What's going fast for you?
I've just been really working on consistency this weekend and focusing really well so I can do good in the mains.
He's a super young kid, super talented, and it's always one of those things that it's like, should I tell somebody some setup secrets and then possibly they end up beating me? And we joked about it before going into the mains, and that's exactly what happened. So definitely no hard feelings there. He's a great kid, and I'm super stoked that he had a great showing there. Kudos again to Brennan. You did an awesome job. Your two-wheel seemed like it was unstoppable. So best of luck to you at the next one. Four-wheel. Definitely my better of the 2 cars for the weekend. We didn't do anything too crazy with our setup changes, but I'll walk you through some of the things that I had tried and some things that I had broke, and let me explain. So as some of you guys know, you can run this vehicle with a composite optional gear set when it comes to your differentials. You can put a composite ring gear and you can put a composite internal gear set. What this does is obviously it lightens up the drivetrain and gives you much snappier performance when it comes to acceleration. Now, this all comes with a potential cost that I definitely learned this weekend. I was running these gear sets with a center diff at Beachline. Absolutely no issues whatsoever. And I thought, you know what? Let's put a super tight slipper in there, lock it down so that we can really get some snappiness coming out of the corners. And let's just see if we can chip some teeth or survive. Well, spoiler alert, by I think it was like the 2nd or 3rd round of qualifying, my car definitely developed some clicking sounds under a hard landing under acceleration. To no surprise, really, I took it apart and I saw that I had, in fact, chipped my ring gears. So we went ahead and took that center slipper out, replaced all of our ring gears to be safe, and we put a center diff in with 2 million weight diff oil. I definitely could feel the acceleration loss when going to a center diff compared to basically a locked out slipper. My lap time seemed to drop by maybe a 10th or 2 on my hot lap, but it didn't seem like it was the end of the world. And of course now my vehicle was going to last and not blow up any diff gears. I think in my next carpet adventure, I'm going to put the slipper back in and then go to the metal ring gears and see if there's like a balance there that I could achieve where the car is still super lightweight, but then I have the durability factor with the aggressive acceleration. Something I'm gonna try, but just wanted to tell you guys my thoughts and experiences with my experiment of drivetrain parts. It seems that the 1.8 sway bars versus the 2.0 sway bars that we were running a couple years ago, The 1.8s kind of let this car get into a much more comfortable roll position. With the 2.0s, the car would be so stiff that you would kind of like go into a corner, and if you pushed it too hard, it was a little bit difficult to read and predict what was going to happen. Sometimes it would flip, sometimes it wouldn't. When you run the 1.8s, the car has a much broader range of seeing how it's going to roll, and to the point where it's going to flip, and you can kind of predict it a little bit easier. In my opinion, I think that the car works better on the 1.8s. Again, 2.0s may be the hot ticket at the track and environment that you're in, but I personally like the 1.8s with the 2 recent carpet events that I went to. Another thing that I'm seeing a lot of guys play around with, and I don't know that I could say that there is a definite, concrete, this is the way that we do it kind of approach, the front caster blocks. They come in an option of 6, 9, and 12 from TLR. At Beachline, Dakota liked to run the 12-degree caster blocks because he felt that it gave the car a much more drivable factor for him. When I put him on my car, I didn't like the steering response at all. To me, the car felt very lazy, and then it would just kind of arc really hard at the end of the corner. So perhaps if you're driving the car very hard into a corner and you're waiting on it to turn at the moment that you know it's going to, the 12s might work for you. For me, I like a much more predictable input, so I like to run the 6-degree caster blocks. They seem to have a much faster off center, like from center to giving input. It's a little bit faster. Perhaps it gives up a little bit steering late. I don't really feel that they do, but again, I'm not Dakota Fend, so who am I to say? The last thing that I'll say that was a tremendous help, thanks to a lot of you guys, in my Beachline video, I had reached out to you guys and said, hey, I suck. My 4-wheel drive doesn't want to go through a corner. What should I do? And a lot of you guys reached out, and you had commented on I was running a 40-20 or a 50-30 combo, 50,000 weight oil up front, 30,000 weight oil in the rear, and you said that's way too thick. You should definitely go down. I had somebody, Justin Green, he reached out, which is really cool because he's an AE driver, but we've raced a couple times at some bigger events. He's buddies with a couple of the Florida boys down here. They always get together and have a good time. And he said, you should run something closer to like 10K. He was kind of struggling with the same thing, and several other almost exactly identical DMs said, you went thicker, and then when you went lighter, everything got better. So there may be a small tweak or like perfect oil setting to go with, but 10K was definitely good enough for me throughout the whole weekend. There was a couple moments in qualifying where I was really close to a TQ run. I actually had the TQ run all the way up until the last lap of, I think it was like Q3 or Q4. And I just went literally a couple tenths too slow on the last lap, and I lost it. So kudos to my fellow TLR teammate who got the TQ that round. You did awesome, man. I'm glad, one of us ended up getting it there. So that's everything I'll say about my 4-wheel. Let's go ahead and jump into the mains here that are worth watching. And then when I get back, we'll wrap this puppy up.
Our 4-wheel drive Pro 13.5 buggy presented by J Concept. Brendan Schimmel starting on pole. Our drivers are ready. Good luck, marshals are ready. Good luck, drivers. We're going racing on the sound of the tone. Oh yeah, those ripping and ripping. Oh, nice save by Schimmel. Having a little board meeting, but he's all right. Oh no, Matt car dead. Track is clear. All right, we got Schimmel leading the way. Got Stack behind him. Followed by Ryan Style Harris. Make sure you go check out his YouTube page. Ryan Style Harris on YouTube. He's going to be having a good story about this race. He's got a lot of great RC coverage on there. Make sure you go check it out, subscribe, like the page, all that YouTube stuff. Helps us spread the word to this wonderful hobby we all love. Give a shout out and thanks to Ryan for making the trip. Down the line we go. It's Brennan, followed by Jeff and Ryan. Over the tabletop is Schimmel, Stack, Harris, followed closely by Vaughn. All these guys in the mix here for the overall. Climbing up the hill and down. Schimmel and Stack. They had a great race and two-wheel stock. Great sportsmanship between these two. Their teammates rocking the TLR. Harrison Boss, Cavada in the 5 spot, followed by Postman, White, Ford at safe gear. Within second on the straightaway they go. In it, Brennan Schimmel, Jeff Stackowitz, a.k.a. Stack. Over the chicane they go. Perfect lines here. A bit of a break to him and Harris. Harris and Boss having a good line. Back to the front. It's Schimmel across the line. Advantage now, 4/10 of a second. Stack attack trying to reel back in Schimmel. They were a half a second now apart last time by. Over the left side double. On the straightaway they go. Using that curving on the exit of the sweeper. Schimmel, Stack, Harris, Boss, Postman. Down the straightaway, across the line, in 4/10 of a second between Brennan and Jeff. 2:45 to go. Schimmel. And here Jeff Stackowitz across the line. Now it's a 10th of a second here. 2/10 that time by. And about 3, maybe 4 car lengths. Over the front side, double leg go. They're going to be hitting the halfway mark this time by. On the straightaway. Just shy of halfway. 2:25 left to go. Watching into chicane. Clear. Our leader soon to be coming up to traffic. Make sure you give them lots of room when they get there. Don't wait for them to get on your rear wing. Down the line, goes Schimmel, followed by Stack. Up and down the hill into the chicane. Bright orange and yellow car. We got 3 down, 2 to go. 3 down, 2 to go. And a hot and heavy battle here. Leader's now up the hill, bright yellow car. Well done, thank you. Watch the chicane. Leader. Oh, man. We go, you'll have to give way. You'll have to let Jeff fly. Thank you. Bad luck there for Schimmel. Our leader right now, it is Stackowitz and Schimmel. There's Stackowitz right on the apron there through the sweeper. Schimmel getting right back in the saddle here. Leaders. Thank you. Oh, Schimmel on the outside, inside, not close enough to make a move. We got 1:09 to go at the stripe. In the chicane, Schimmel right there on the rear wing here of Stack. Stack doing a masterful job, not giving him any daylight. Through the sweeper, there you go. Schimmel right there, putting the right side on the apron. Oh, a tight line there. Into the chicane they go again. He got it right there at that section in the two-wheel drive. Stack, he learned from the first time, not letting it happen in this one. We got 4 seconds to go, 40 to go. 4-wheel drive, 13.5 on the line, presented by Jay Costa. Thank you very much, good job. Our leaders now clear of traffic. They have 30 ticks of the clock left. Down the line goes Jeff, followed by Brennan. Off the hill and down. Through the chicane now, onto the front side. Over the double, here to the tabletop. Perfect line by both Schimmel. Oh, he was close. 11 seconds to go. The final lap here in number 3. 4-wheel drive, 13.5. Schimmel, he got a turned in. He tried it. Denied by Stack. It's a race to the finish line. Down the line it goes. Stackowitz going to take the win. Schimmel goes through. Race is still hot for line. Boston Harris having a battle to the line. And that is time. Just Stackowitz taking over.
Dude, good racing. That was fun. That was close.
Andrew, Brady, Shane, John, and Spencer.
Man.
So real quick, just wanted to get a quick word with our buddy Daniel, who did his first time racing with that e-truggy that you guys saw a little while ago. This weekend, he's been trying his hand at some 17.5 two-wheel drive buggy action. I think it was a little bit steep of an order, but still he had fun this weekend. Just wanted to get some quick thoughts from him on how the weekend went.
Daniel, how'd it go? Tell us about it.
It was a lot of fun. It was it's a lot different than dirt. It took me a little bit to get used to. Didn't do too well, but you know, in the end, I had a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun hanging out with everybody. And no matter what happened, every single time I was on the track, practice or a race, I had a blast. It was just a really, really fun experience.
There was a couple times where you got a really great start in the beginning and you'd be like 4th or 5th in your heat, and then just kind of like some mental mistakes would kind of get the best of you there. So what do you think you would do to try and like lower those types of instances next time?
I think that I have a very competitive nature. So whenever I have one little bobble, my mind wants to make up for that time. So I'm constantly trying to push it here a little harder, which in the end just leads to more mistakes. I think I would love to have some more time on carpet because I really only had like 2 practice runs and then I was thrown into seating. But I think some more practice of just consistency would help in the long run for sure.
Yeah, quick note, his first time running the car was seating round number 1 on practice day, and then he went straight into qualifying. So we could definitely help him out a little bit by giving him some more practice. So hopefully he's going to turn some laps back at his home track at Adrenaline.
Get some dirt action with the 2-wheel up there with the boys, Jacob and the whole Hardison family. But dude, you did great this weekend. You're going to crush it next time.
Dude. I can't wait.
Scotty Ernst, you guys know the name, you know the voice, you can hear him without even hearing him, you know what I mean? But wanted to get a quick little word what he's doing here this weekend. This is something that he's trying to do annually, I think he'll say in a second here. But Scotty?
I think that you are probably the most notable voice in RC, and it's so cool to be at one of your races. So for those that have never been here, or maybe they're planning on coming to it, I just wanted to get your thoughts. What's your goal with this event?
Well, with the popularity of carpet off-road racing, I wanted to do something kind of like in this hotel. I've been involved with the EOS over in Europe for a long time, and it's really, carpet has moved to America for off-road. We call it off-road. The dirt guys say, it's not really off-road, but honestly, until you try it, you will find it's just a different kind of fun. It's a lot of fun, and we do the on-road race here last week over Thanksgiving weekend. And I was asked to get involved in that and direct that, and I thought, what a perfect way. The floor's here already. We can do it. So I pitched the idea around, and we said, hey, let's do an off-road race here, and it's worked out great. I was hoping for about 150 this first year. We fell just shy of it, but honestly, it's not shy of it because it's a new event. A lot of people have never been to one of our events, let alone a hotel race. And hotel races are so awesome because you're in your room, you're 100 steps from your room if you need to, want to take a nap or whatever, and they got happy hour here and free food and great breakfast, and it just makes a perfect place for a race. So every year, the week after Thanksgiving, we'll be running off-road here at the Embassy Suites.
So there you guys have it. Pretty much no excuse not to come next year, right? Honestly, it is I've never done a hotel race before.
It's awesome,
and
isn't
this
it?
whole walk out my door down to the track, like I can sleep in until like 15 minutes before practice. Don't recommend that, but you get the point. It's a really cool experience. If you guys haven't done it before, Scotty's the best. This is a fun event, so hopefully I'll see you guys, everyone next year. So thanks, Scotty. I appreciate it.
All right, thank you very much, man. Appreciate it.
So again, as you can see, I had a great time with a lot of great people. Scotty is an awesome guy. Thank you so much for all of your help. Scotty actually picked me up from the airport at like 12 o'clock at night before the day of practice and qualifying that I was going to get there. He's a top-notch guy. I really hope that I can race at some more of his events. He makes them super fun from the novice class all the way up to the premier modified classes. So if you're looking to go to a big travel event, you can't go wrong when you go to one of Scotty's races. Again, huge shout out and thank you to everyone over on my Patreon for making it possible for me to go to this event and bring an extra car for Daniel to race and try out this whole 10 scale world. You guys are the best. Everyone up on the screen, you guys know the deal. You are all huge supporters of this channel. I cannot thank you enough. And now, of course, I have to give a huge shout out to all of my top tier patron supporters, starting with Brandon Moore. Welcome to the squad. Thank you, sir. The next one, Morrison Wad. Please correct me down below or shoot me a message on Patreon if I'm saying that right. But thank you all the same for your support. Jason Sinclair. Thank you, sir. Brandon Helton. Thanks for sticking around, man. You're the best. Robert Black. Thank you very much, sir. And of course, how could we forget Tim Juskiewicz? You guys are all very helpful. Thank you so much for your continued support. With your help and anyone else out there that is looking to get in on the Patreon bandwagon, you will help me do stuff like I did with Daniel Evans this year, where we got together, we put together an 8-scale vehicle for him to try, and then we did the same thing with him to try some 10-scale stuff as well. So all those people are super awesome. Thank you again. I hope to do more of these, first time race adventures with somebody in the future where I can get a secondary car ready to go for them or take us to new tracks that we've never been to before. I don't know what's in store, but I'm really excited and you guys are definitely a huge help with that. So thank you. So that's everything that I have for my 2 carpet adventures, and it's gonna wrap up my 2021 race season. So it's been a great year. Really looking forward to what's in store for next year. Looking forward to seeing more new faces at new tracks, at places I've never been to before, and I can't wait to see where this thing goes. So thank you everyone for your support this year, and I will see you next year. Peace.